going, guys? So just doing the install of a video for an MG like ZS. Should be 2017 to about 2020 like 1. But if your dash looks like this shape here, you're going to need a model. So we're going to pull this whole thing out and we're going to replace our radio in here. In terms of factory features, there isn't too much going on here. And I would assume this unit actually might be a bit slow and buggy because they would have put it out to a third party, and MG probably wouldn't have made it themselves, which normally have a few issues with the other unit. So I know it does have CarPlay here, a radio, Bluetooth. There's not too much else going on in your settings here. And we have a reverse camera and steering wheel controls. So we'll keep all those factory things working. So no trajectory lines on there, and obviously we've got our buzzers. And there'll be a factory USB port that we should keep working as well. So we'll go through and put this in today. First thing you want to do is you've got this little aircon vent here. Give it a few wiggles. Should actually just pop, I believe. Aircon vent, just get your trim tool in the bottom here. I'll lever it out either side and that'll pop out like so. You've got this big trim piece here. Again, if you get your trim tool and work your way along it, you'll find it'll pull out all the way down to your radio, like so. Sorry, super zoom. Then once it's out, you've just got a plug on the back here. That needs to come unplugged. It's just got a small actual lever you got to push down to get it off, and that's how that comes out. Then you've got this piece of trim here. Again, trim tool. Get it in the sides here. You can start at the top with your hand, just like I did then, and then get the trim tool and work your way around, and that'll pop off. And you got a small plug here again. This plug here, pull that out like so. So that's that piece out. Put it in the back seat out of the way there. Then you've just got 4 Phillips, and then the actual unit's going to pull out. So once you've pulled out those 4 Phillips, you should be able to get your hands in there, pull the whole unit out, and you've got a few plugs in the back. These are all just push down on top and pull out type plugs. This one here is a cam lock. It has a little thing down the bottom here, you got to squeeze together, I believe. Pop out. Yeah, so the cam lock one's got a small little tab there, you got to push down, that allows you to actually lever it up. Then once you lever it up, it'll come out. And your purple one here was just a push down on that little clip and pull it out. There's the back of our unit, and I do take it back, it actually is manufactured by the manufacturer. So now we'll put our harness kit in and make sure it all works. So now we grab our harness. It's our easy adapter harness with a CAN bus kit on it. And what we're going to do is we want to make sure this all works. So you put this one in, it can only go one way. As it slides in, you'll see that the CAN bus lever flings down. Now you want to make sure you get this kind of right, because otherwise you'll end up bending the pins in the plug. So just double, and that clips in like so. Then you've got our reverse camera input wire. Got this grey 6-pin one on. The purple side here, cam in, plugs into this cam output you had coming on. So like so. We've got these 2 other cables. So the one of them is our USB retention cable. So we check that matches up. Yep, so I'll keep our USB working. And the other one is actually a Fakra one for radio reception. We plug that in and we'll test it. We're most likely going to have to wire this into our blue wire coming off here to give us our power. But we'll just check this as we go to power it all up. So then grab your radio and the fascia here, plug in the big black one, the big 20-pin one, the grey 6-pin one, so the black one to there, grey 6-pin into here, and then radio into here, and then we'll just set it up here and we'll power it up, and we'll just check that something's going to sort of happen, because obviously you do want something to happen. Put the keys in. So you want to check the reverse camera, the steering wheel controls, and sound, and like FM, AM. So we've got sound coming in, which is good. What you can do too to work it if you need that blue wire wired up is you can come in here and you can actually come into AM. If you do a scan in AM and you find no stations just like this, we're definitely going to need that blue wire hooked up. So that's fine. So we've got sound happening. We'll go into reverse and see if anything happens. We've got our trigger, which is good, but we're getting a black screen. So if we hold that and press the settings icon up here, then 4 zeros, then we'll probably need to change this to CVBS NTSC, then press the clipboard, and we should be good. It was currently set for an aftermarket camera, which you could upgrade it. Cool, so we've got that coming in now, that's pretty good. Now we'll go through and and then we'll check our steering wheel controls. You see we've got our steering wheel controls working. So we had our reverse camera, steering wheel controls, and that all going, so that you actually get the extra options for the car setting from the CAN bus, car info. I'm not sure if this does. Oh yeah, you've actually got the ZS confirm. Sometimes out of that might I've like put in some extra options on the can. The fact that like, this is a pretty like basic car, it probably like won't, because obviously it's a baseline car. But that basically proves everything we have is like working, which is what we wanted to see. So it's just going to say that there's your car there for your parking sensors like you had before. And then back into that car info one, like I was showing you. Now, sometimes you can get some extra things in here that didn't come up in the factory of radio, which is quite cool, but actually there's less options in here now. So that is all you have really going on, which is fine. All our factory other features are working how we wanted them to. I just grabbed all the extra like, wires in the kit we like need, and I'll go through them like one by one. So here we've got, I'll sort of explain what I call them. So I call in the back of the unit here, I call this our main 20-pin plug. Auxiliary plugs, GPS, 4G, AM, FM. So if I say like auxiliary plugs, I'm talking about that block there. So we've got our 2 USBs and external like mic. So that's going to go into one of our auxiliary like plugs there. So one of like these, it doesn't matter like which one, you're going to end up plugging into here, because that's going to retain that existing like USB. The other one, what I normally do is I sort of run it into the other glove box, or down like somewhere. In this case, I'll run this one to the glove box now, so you can just actually pass it through. It's pretty easy. And then we've got a like single USB. Again, this goes into the auxiliary plug. I know this like customer is going to be having our dual front and rear like dash cam that like runs into the head unit, so we'll run that off this. And what I'll do is I will run this down the side here, just so I can like get to it, probably down the bottom here, and that means I can install that dual like dash camera into that. So that's that one. Like SIM card, if you do want to put a SIM card in the unit and like give it dedicated 4G, you can. Up to you if you want to or don't want to, but probably only 10% of our customers do use it. But if you find yourself like needing it, it's handy to have it in the glove box so you can get to it. So again, just run it through that little gap like so. There you go. This here's our antenna, like Bluetooth and like Wi-Fi. So plug this into it at the moment. Now you'll also see you've got like pre-outs RCAs that would like fit this plug. You'd only be using that if you were running an aftermarket amp. Most people won't be on these cars. This is our 4G antenna. So it looks something like this. Just needs to be like mounted up under the dash with no metal above it. So obviously you'd probably want to come back into here on this car somewhere and find a good spot. Doesn't have to, this one isn't too critical about how high it is, because it's a bit like your phone. It gets good signal even if it is in the other footwell. So this I'm actually just going to mount right on here in this model. That's going to be fine for our 4G. It's just a 3M stick pad, so give it a few seconds of a good push down. So that's our purple one there. Then we have our GPS. This is a bit more important to get high up. Again, a majority of people are going to be using CarPlay or like Android Auto for GPS, but if you do want to install a map app direct on the unit, we'll be using this GPS. And I can feel my hand straight up here, and because you need a bit of smooth area, which can be half the problem in these cars because they've got all the other ribs from the other moulding. Best thing I can find is over on the side there, so I'll mount it there. Again, direction or orientation doesn't matter. It just needs to be, hopefully, not getting covered by anything that is a metal above it. I've actually put it over here. I would say that's probably on top of the other gauge cluster. That's that. External microphone. You can run this. You don't have to. It has an internal one as well. We just suggest always running it because at least you have it. We're going to mount it up in the A pillar up here, which I will show you. What I've done is I've just used. You can see the mics up here. I just used a trim tool. Tuck the cable in. Pop this. So I tucked it behind that plastic, tucked it behind this sort of plastic, pop the trim tool in and sort of pop the cable through that gap here, and then we've got it out here. So now I actually have to remove any plastic here. I was just using the trim tool. It's just a quick and efficient way to do it. Now I use the cable puller, which is in the kit, and I've pushed the cable puller all the way through and I popped it out here, and now I will pull through that cable, and you'll see it plugs into here. Fascia had a couple of metal clips on these ones. Our fascia just needs to borrow 2 of them, so you can see I've actually popped them off. Just get a flat head on one side and you can actually bend them out and off. They've got little teeth on the inside. Then you just clip one on there and the one on there. So that's all we need, because on here you can see our clips are going to go back into the other metal fixings that are already in there. And you can see I've sort of taped everything up to tidy it up a little bit. You can do that as you like as well. And then what you can do is you just go through, plug everything back in. So plug everything back in. I normally like to start from, so let's actually one side and I'll work my way to the other one. So you got your big plug in there, that's in. We've got our Vhedia plug in there. And you can see I also hooked our blue one up to that blue wire here. So I join all of those together. That'll give us our AM reception. You can join them however you want. In the future we'll try to get that hooked up in the kit all up ready, because I think all these ones will be the same. Then we've got our small purple one here for our single USB, then our dual USBs and our 4G and our Bluetooth antenna. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plugs in our auxiliary, and we come along, we've got our 4G and our purple, our GPS in here, and then we've got our FM and antenna into here. So once those are all plugged in, then we like to pull this antenna up the top too if we can. We can basically float all our cables back in, and what we'll do is we'll see how it all goes in there, like so. You got that plug there that we're not using anymore, because that was, that was into our little radio box. You will need your top AC plug still, so make sure you leave that hanging out and get it all sort of lined up. And then before you go and get too pushy in there, just turn the car back on and check all your things are working. I like to even start the car up just to ensure everything as it is. So we're going to quickly check our reverse camera. Cool, that's all working. Steering wheel controls, check, they're working. Our radio, definitely working. And AM's still not working. There is one more thing, we might just have to turn on our external amp, this little button here, because that puts the power down there. So now if we actually scan AM, we're actually picking up stations here, which is what we wanted.
To conditions for the racing there tomorrow.
So we've got that, cool. Reverse cameras are working, steering wheel controls are working. You can check the factory USB ports working too, and that is basically everything. Then you can go and actually push the stereo in. So when you go to push this in, just make sure everything's lining up as it should, and then you should find it should just all pushes in okay, like so. It does seem a little bit tight. You might have to trim the bottom of this tab here off. Just a pair of like scissors or something, you can trim the bottom of it off. I'm not sure if that's on all models or just this one. We'll see if we can get different fascias as well, but at the moment we did have to do a little bit of trimming on the bottom. You can see it's all in there now. That little clip, I did have to trim the top and the bottom of it, that middle clip on both sides. We will have a look at this, but if you do come to trying to put the head unit in and it feels kind of sort of rocking in the middle, that will be your issue. And just a small trim on our fascia is fine, that won't affect anything on it and all our warranty or anything. It's just a little plastic tab was a bit big. And then we've got to put our plug back in for this, line this back up, that'll push back in, then it will just clip in nicely as you go along. It's all looking pretty good, and our aircon vent will just push straight back in over here. I'll just lean across and do it. You can see it just had these little tabs on it. That's why we actually lever the bottom of it to get it off originally, and that's that back in like that. So that's that whole install done. Pretty straightforward install, to be honest. Majority of people will be able to do this in a couple of hours, so I think you'd be fine if you give yourself that, and a great upgrade for these cars. So there we have the install all done there. So it's all looking pretty good. Got a 10-inch screen. You can have a wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Got all your factory features working. You've got it'll be a quick boot system like now, which is always quite nice. Steering wheel controls, reverse camera, your factory USB will still work. You can see it all fits in there pretty flush, looking just like the original one, but with a beautiful 10-inch screen. HD, obviously our units do run like Android, so you can do a few more things on them. We also, for this customer here, we put in the front and rear dash cam, so that's recording there. So all pretty spot on. You can see that one there, and the rear one's just in the top back there. So that's all done. So if you want to do this install yourself, yeah, give it a crack. Fairly easy install. Our kits make it super straightforward.